Hello, I'm going to be going over kind of a fun run I had. It was Hellhorned Stygian. I did do live commentary, but I've been experimenting with some different audio setups, and it looks like this one didn't capture my voice. So I have sped up the footage a little bit. It is kind of a longer run for my standards, which doesn't mean much. I do kind of go too fast sometimes. And I did notice a starting setup with a lot of imp stuff, and it was against the chaste, so I was kind of I wasn't sure what to do with that. Forever Flame though seemed like a really good idea with imps in the starting deck, and even if they were rage imps. So I'm checking the map here, and I'm just checking Daedalus and Fel. So Fel is the one Scourge Fel. So I make the note that I am going to take Ember. I've seen that recommended, and in practice it does feel a lot smoother. Because I'm against Seraph, the chaste stacking rage seemed like a bad idea. I do much prefer the Wrathful Prince in general. It seems way more powerful in a lot of situations, but in this specific deck, I thought that the Slayer would be a better idea, since they can't cleanse the Slay enhancement. And I haven't really played with the Slayer a lot, so I wanted to see if I could get a little better at it. And since I have the chump blockers, I thought I could take the trial here, but then check out the Apprentice of Light, and I remember that he does have a Slay trigger. So I'm just trying to do some math here to see how I can set up a Slay on the second floor without the damage shield being a problem. So a Train Steward can take a hit since they only attack for 7. And with the rage from the imp, should be able to set up the Slay here. And I put up the Train Steward on top to grab the collector, and I just had to do that so that my prince was the actual one to get the Slay. And so here, another math exercise. So he is getting a damage shield by killing the Train Steward. So I can't just let that happen, or my prince won't get the Slay. And there's no more room on the lane. So what I do is I kill the back imp, which leaves room. And then I still have a problem because of the damage shield. So now the imp will take off the damage shield and let me get the Slay, or let the prince get the Slay. So with 45 damage, I really just need to be able to attack all 3 times, and so Train Steward's plenty. So pretty good first fight. I get the trial and no pyre damage, and the collector. That's always what you want to see. Leading into the imp synergy here, armor seems like a good idea. And because I have the 2 energy siphons, I wanted a hard-hitting spell to match with that. And Crypt Builder was that. And I was hoping to pick up some offering tokens in the future, maybe. But then I see this, and see if you would make the same decision here. I think it's an obvious choice. The sweeper gives frostbite, which does get cleansed, so it's really only just for you can't plan everything for the final boss, but you do have to make some concessions. So I grabbed the Sap Totem, and I am deciding that that's going to be my main way defensive scaling. Sap Totem is amazing, and the downside is it costs 3, so it's the turn that you play it, you're kind of screwed. But I have Forever Flame, so way better for my setup. And I was kind of torn. I saw the Dupe Stone was next, so I wanted to get some health on my Sap Totem so I could actually get a second one duped right away. So I wanted to get the unit upgrades. Kind of miss here. No health. I was looking for 25 health specifically.
So, but I grab incant armor since I am going to be incanting on that floor to trigger sap, and with this strategy, I think the Stygian banner is a better path. So that being the next to the dupe is something I'm happy with. And I've been making a conscious effort to do a little bit more path planning with my runs, which is why this one took a little longer. But I think it is kind of pays off. So I'm a little concerned to take the armor trial here just to get those initial slay triggers. And I don't feel like the unit is an emergency since I have the Sap Totem is kind of my main game plan, and my Prince is kind of my main DPS plan, hoping to get the Brawler path so that he has multi-strike. .25 damage isn't enough, so I'm hoping to get some rage out there. But then I realized, oh no, I'm stealing my own kills because of the rage on these two. But I'm just trying to I did the math so that I could at least get the kill on this next guy with a frozen lance, that is. So I made a mistake there. I should have played those train stewards out. Because, not having spells to trigger sap is a problem. And again, I stole kills from my Prince, but since this is the sweep boss, I really need to be able to sap this guy in order to last long enough to do my damage. So I'm just hoping I draw into spells, and I do. Not enough to kill, but at least I don't take too much. I made up for my perfect first fight. And the armor is okay. It is a free sap trigger. But I still was a little concerned about getting the initial slays on my Prince. So I was just considering if I wanted to take a ritual battle, despite it being slightly worse in the final battle. And I'm looking through my cards here, and I don't have any other sort of damage scaling other than the imps. So the ritual battle seemed like a good idea. And then Hell Crystal is another way of like damage scaling just by weakening the front unit. I grabbed the Titan Sentry there because I don't really have a way to clear out the back units other than the Pyre killing them. So Titan Sentry is a great way to do that. And Pyre is already, I took a bit of damage in the last fight, so I didn't want to just make it super low just in case I got unlucky in this fight. So I get both my Sap Totems, no shark yet though. A little worried about its health. But I just gotta believe. So I draw the Armor Totem and I'm no longer worried about its health. Okay, so the damage, the bomb is a little bit of a problem here. I can't block it. I would have needed to draw 2 torches though, so it was unlikely. So I'm getting the Slay, so I don't want to do too much damage. So I just, enough to make it sapped. Which is pretty much how the rest of the run goes. I do enough spells to get it sapped, and then make sure my prince gets the slay. So this next one, obviously, I'm not going to be able to do that because there's 2 units. But he is sapped, and I don't have any other spells, so I don't have a choice. And yeah, I'm noticing here I have way too many units, so I do want to address that at some point. So not getting the kill yet, but with 2 casts I do. This guy has a pretty low attack stat, so didn't need much. So Spike the Hellhorned and Last Stand in particular is really bad for the last fight. Spike the Hellhorned could help just get some initial slays, and I will be taking Ember here, so it was something I definitely considered. But Deep Offering is a way to just get more incants in. And I didn't want to, I don't need any more units other than maybe another Sap Totem. I do want to upgrade my units though. So I'm just looking to see when the next unit upgrade is to see if I need to take this one. And it comes with money, so I decided to do it. And no health. I really want 3 health upgrades, but I grab Endless, which means that kind of my backline problems are solved as long as I do have 3 priority units, so it's not guaranteed to draw it right away. I do cut Train Steward there just because I was noticing I had way too many units in the last battle. And I was offered Wrathful Prince, but Wrathful Prince is not really synergizing with what I'm trying to do. I do notice that, yeah, I skipped another trial here. Again, armor, I was concerned about getting that initial slay in. But I guess I shouldn't have been because he only has 60 health. Okay, so easily able to get that first slay, and then Ritual Battle sealed the deal. So, Revenge Trigger, unfortunately not enough to kill these backliners. I've only built up 27 armor on this first guy, so I was pretty surprised that I didn't need to cast anything. So One-Horn's Tome is really good here. So is Branding Right, but obviously not as impactful. So One-Horn's Tome makes up for the fact that I didn't get the Brawler path. Guardian's Amulet is something I was considering here, but the fact that it cost 3 was really limiting. And when I could just cast a spell instead, a 1-cost spell instead, and get the same effect. It was pretty big priority there to lower the cost of One-Horn's Tome since I had no way of playing it. Okay, so Stealth Boss, I was really not worried about multi-strike. That's actually actively helpful with my Endless Frost Shark. The only thing I was concerned about on this one, yeah, especially with the Sap Totem, nullifying the effect of multi-strike. And the Frost Shark dealing with stealth, this is just a really good fight for my setup. And I can't cast a spell anywhere. Top floor I would take my own slay away, and bottom floor I would just do less damage to that tank, so it didn't really make sense to cast any spells there. I probably should have played the ritual battle there instead of just putting one armor on my guys. So I really wanted to play One Harm's Tome there, but it would have killed my Sap Totem, and I think it was important to have those both up for the stealth boss. So I'm just seeing where to put the siphon. Again, doing the math here, and it doesn't look like I can play One Harm's Tome and have my Sap Totems both live, because they'd be attacking for 8 each. Yeah, and so unfortunately, I had to kill them both, so no slay triggers. So this guy lives through all the stealth, which is great. And this boss is kind of a really weak other than its stealth effect, so it was pretty easy. And I grabbed Blight's Gift here, so the very situation where this is useful happened in this fight, so I couldn't play One Harm's Tome in that last battle, even though I was getting the slay because that guy was going to kill my totem. So if I had that, it wouldn't have happened that way. So Branding Right is pretty good. I have 26 health on my Sap Totem, so I can play it, and I can play it on my champion as well. And that's just a free spell, and there are situations where I want to hold cards over to later, like the One Harm's Tome. And I just want to get some more cost reductions in. I was just checking, I didn't have any X cost cards, and I was trying to think about what X cost card could I pick up that would make that first Hell Pact worth it, and there wasn't really any. I want to cast more spells per turn, and so there's the Rage one. Rage goes away, and especially in the last fight. And then there's the Frostbite Sap one, and just rather than an X cost card, I could just play more spells. So yeah, reducing the cost of One Harm's Tome here, because without doing that, it just takes up the whole turn, which is a little hard to deal with. And I'm just deciding to get rid of a torch. Torches I can't really cast just to trigger armor. Like, I have to have a target, and sometimes I don't have a target. So really fortunate to get this Titan Sentry right away. So I'm getting the Slay trigger, which makes me happy. I can start stacking up armor. So, do need to do a little bit of damage to that guy. Not killing him yet. But with that I would. So I'm digging for the Pyrochomper, and I forgot about the Trader's Quill, so I could have just played the One-Horned Tome anyway. But now I get some damage in on the boss at least. Okay, so I'm just getting both sleighs. And it just, I wanted to get some armor out there. So it's all about just getting armor. I think at this point the fight's already won, but I just wanted to maximize it anyway. And the shark getting a decent amount of frostbite on there. It's already dead, without any sap. So, fight's over. Transcend it. I'm not really relying on imps. I have them, but they're not part of my strategy. Last Stand is super awful on the last fight. Gifts for the Guard is kind of a weird... I'm not really relying on the damage from my spells, so it's kind of a iffy pick. And I'm really torn on this one. I want to do both capacity so that I can dupe my Sap Totem and guarantee I can place it, and I want to do draw, but I feel like the draw is more important because capacity is only important if I get unlucky on the reduced space floor. So I'm looking at the last area I do want to dupe, so there's this Merchant of Magic there. So that means this is my last opportunity for Merchant of Steel. I do get health. Put it on the Titan Sentry because I already have a Sap Totem with health and I'm going to be duping it. I decided to get rid of the cards that don't incant when I play them, so they're bad. And the Rage was pretty much irrelevant because I would just play it with my Titan Sentry. Okay, so doing the math here, I know I have an extra multi-strike, so it's either I attack 2 targets and gain 40 damage each time, so a total of 80, or I attack 3 targets and get 20 each time for a total of 60. And so being able to attack 3 targets is nice, but mainly it's 2 big targets that is the thing I'm looking at. So I think gaining more attack per round is the better play here with One-Horned Tome. If I didn't have it, I think getting more attacks per round would be better. Even, yeah, it would be better. I think the math is the same, but it's still better. Just to hit more things. So I didn't have a reduced top floor, so I can play the Imp just for some armor, but I just realized I can't play the Branding Right on either of them, so I just had to do it on the Champ. Again, Trader Quill is something I didn't account for there. I could have gotten a slay if I cast it on a different floor, which would have made this slay quite a bit easier. But I manage it just fine. And only having one target to kill means I'm kind of gaining less, but I think it's worth the target clears there. This guy especially, like if I didn't draw into spells, it might have been challenging. I don't know, maybe not. Already killing him without any sap, just because my princess scaled so much. He's only living 2 rounds. Okay, so a rage could give some initial scaling, but doesn't seem necessary. Armor is an alternative to duping the Sap Totem. The advantage of that is the armor lasts, whereas the Sap Totem requires me to basically place spells on the turn the boss comes, since they cleanse sap that I apply ahead of time. And I do consider it, but it has no upgrades, and I think just leaning into the sap is more important. So I kind of am at a loss of what to upgrade. I just want to make my average cost of spells cheaper, and I know it is a mistake. I should have checked the artifact shop. I'm not sure what could have been here that I would have taken. The Icicle Fracture is interesting. I do have a card that can freeze a card, but I think that that's too slow to be worth it. And just getting a couple cost reductions is better. Yeah, I can't really think of what artifact I'd take over a couple cost reductions that would be worth it. Consumer of Crowns is nice, of course, but it's nothing on the scaling that I'm already getting, so yeah, there's not much that I can think of. I guess Cuddlebeard would be pretty good with my Endless Titan Sentry, but again, I don't think that's worth as much as just a couple cost reductions on spells. Now, yeah, I did want, I should have considered duping my Titan Sentry instead of my Sap Totem, and unfortunately my gamble didn't pay off. I did have a cost reduced top floor, so I wasn't able to get my 3 Sap Totem top floor like I was hoping. And I can finally play my Lodestone Totem. I was just cycling through all the imps until I got an Ember one. And so now I have my floor set up, and I'm getting the sleigh. It's dazed. Dazed isn't guaranteed on this fight, since that is something that gets cleansed. But it's actually kind of working out. I don't know if it's working out. I don't know if it's better, but the Seraph is not cleansing as often because I have all those imps that I was just throwing away. So I definitely don't want to get Ember drained here. So just needing to make sure he's fully sapped. But I do get multi-strike now, and things are pretty smooth sailing from here. Alright, so there are 3 targets, unfortunately, so I do need to do some heavy sapping or killing. I go with the both route. Again with the 3 targets. Can no longer put armor on the front dude. Okay, so final wave. I don't know why I keep checking on the bottom. Things are fine. Didn't want to steal slays there, so didn't bother with the damage spells. Okay. Red X, excellent. So if I kill the front unit, that's 1 less slay, so that's just not something that's acceptable. I was surprised how much sap the Seraph still had. Like, it hadn't all worn off already by the time we got to the top floor. But this was a fun run. I experimented a little bit with the Slayer. I already knew the Sap Totems were good. They're just amazing, and especially with Forever Flame, they're amazing. I do think that I will reset my win streak when the new patch comes out. I'm not sure, but because of that, I'm open to ideas. If you have any certain combos you'd like me to try out, other than that, I'll just do random. And yeah, this is one of my more fun runs I had in a while. Just relying on the Prince and basically the Sap Totems to tank. If you enjoyed the video, please like it and just leave a comment if you have any suggestions for future videos. Thanks.